218 pounds, he is the great Greg Gagne.
What's up, everybody? We're live. I'm Dominic D'Angelo of OneTrueSportTV.com, FourHorsemenNetwork.com, and I am here with Greg Gagne, but not the boss, Magnum TA. We have our producer Robert subbing in for us, Robert DeFelice, the Fightful, and he's a dirt sheet writer as well. So, Greg, you got your hands full today, my friend.
Well, I think Magnum, he'll be able to jump in here at some point. We hope.
We hope so. Yeah, we
do hope so.
You know, he's got two jobs going: his regular job, and then in PowerTown, and he's been working 14, 15 hours a day.
He's a man. The work ethic in him is just unbridled.
It's unbelievable. Really, then he had a little problem with the house.
That's why he's the boss.
I'll let him tell you about it. I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, you don't want to get fired by the boss, Greg.
No.
You don't want that to happen.
No.
Well, guys, we are live. If you want to chime in, if you're a One True Sport member, or if you're just tuning in and figuring out, hey, what is this all about? This is Straight Talk with the Boss. Usually we have Magnum TA and Greg Gagne. We have Greg Gagne today. We might get Magnum in a little bit. We'll see. But feel free to chime in with your questions. Use the super chat because that will really help us out, and that will get you first in the line. If you're a member of OneTrueSportTV.com, you'll also get priority over for questions. But get things going here. But we got some fun stuff to talk about.
I hope so.
This week. Yeah. Greg, let's start with the idea. So Money in the Bank was this past weekend. But before I get your take on Tiffany Stratton being the Money in the Bank holder, I want to get your thoughts about John Cena announcing his retirement. And then 2025, he's going to go on a little tour here at the end for WWE, Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble, and then WrestleMania. But then he says he's done as an active wrestler.
So is he going to do? Is he just going to do the 3 events, or is he making the?
I think he's going to do a little bit of a tour. I think
he's doing up to 40 dates.
40
from
days.
January through December.
Right.
How old is John now?
He's 47.
47.
How old is John?
47.
47?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's had a great career. I mean, he came up from, being almost a cartoon character, and people didn't really buy him at first. And he's done a really phenomenal job of the way he built his personality, his character, and came through. And my hat's off to him. I mean, he's a superstar. And if people get a chance to see him on that tour, they should run and get that ticket now because it'll be sold out.
It's going to be. And it's a smart move by WWE to make a big deal out of it and promote it ahead of time.
Yeah.
John knows he's done and he doesn't want to do it anymore. Why not make the most of it and get butts and seats with that?
Well, they should. I mean, John was there from near the beginning and help build that whole empire that they have. And everybody that was involved in that should be rewarded down the road.
Yes, I agree. Greg, did you get to work with him at all in developmental or anything like that? Have you?
No, I never had a chance to, no.
No?
No, when I worked for the WWE, he was just kind of coming in. I really didn't, with what I was doing, didn't really get a chance to spend a lot of time with John.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Greg,
okay. Go ahead, Robert.
Let me ask you, you've obviously worked with a lot of legends. Your father famously had a great retirement and then came out of retirement a couple times. What is that conversation like when you're getting someone at that level of stardom to step down and realize, okay, it's time to hang up the boots?
It's really hard for the individual to give it up.
I believe that.
It is so hard. I mean, when you do it for 20 years or better and you've been on top that whole time and have it all that, and you can feel yourself in the ring, not being as quick. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I thought I shut this off.
No, that's okay.
All good.
We know you're Hollywood.
It's my buddy Wacky trying to get a hold of me. No, it's really difficult. I mean, I had to really kind of give it up because of all the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
But then, then I have people calling me and they want to train, and I get in there and I start training with them. God, man, you just get it. You see them do it, and you bring them along, and then you get, you should be doing this, and then all of a sudden you're in there, you want to have a match with them. So damn hard because it never leaves you. You know, I did it for 19 years. Oh, shoot.
It's all right, Greg.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
good.
guys. I really apologize for
You're
this.
fine.
Yeah, I'm doing a podcast. All right. Yeah. I thought I shut this damn thing off.
Oh, you're able.
You know, it's like trying to find the Peacock and find the pay-per-view the other night. I screwed that up. Now I'm screwing my damn phone up. I'm just going to shut it off here, I think, if I can figure out how to do that.
You'll get it, Greg.
Now,
Well,
Tom, let me ask
I
you.
don't know, guys, you know, when you get old, shit, you can't do anything and can't remember anything.
Do you believe that John's actually done? Like he says, I'm not even taking an accidental bump through a table. I'm not doing anything. I'm done. Do you think he's actually done here?
All I can do is take it for at his word. I know there's like, you know, you hear so many times like Terry Funk's the notorious one to retire and then come out of retirement and things like that. But it's a going kind of thing. And it's almost like I think John is being sincere, him not coming back, but I wouldn't blame him too if he ever did decide to like, oh, I'll do another match at some point or another, because it's kind of like, I look at it almost like, and I know it's definitely an unfair comparison, but if you're looking at the realm of pro wrestling, in the realm of comic books, it's like a lot of these superheroes, quote unquote, die or they like go away and then they bring them back. So it's like, I'm kind of okay with that entertainment aspect of pro wrestling. Not necessarily being the case. But at this juncture, I think John's pretty sincere in his words with that.
Well, at 47, what's going to happen? He's been out for quite a while.
Right.
And it's really tough to go back and harden that body back up to take those bumps.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, unless you've done it. It's hard to explain, but I've seen guys when we're working out, you know, we went for like 3 months. Well, the first month we're all banged up and we're all hurt, and we got, you know, burn marks from hitting the ropes from here all the way down, and you're black and blue all over the place. And then Vern used to say, just don't worry about it. All of a sudden that stuff will all go away. And it does. And then all of a sudden you get some kind of a bump or a hit with something, and it just kind of bounces off. I mean, you know, you got hit, but your body can get used to the punishment. Mm-hmm. And when you lay off for a while and go back, that's when you really start getting hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I'm worried about with John. You know, I know he works out all the time, but working out, lifting the weights and running and getting yourself your breathing back, that you can get back, but getting that body hardened back up for those bumps, that's the tough part.
And that's a great point too, because like you mentioned it, I mean, you get older and you're not necessarily staying attuned to the ring and what the ring is bringing to your body. And if you get back in like that, you're going to feel it. You are definitely going to feel it. You know,
I mean, I work out 3 times a week, and I'm, you know, I feel like I'm stronger in some parts, but you know, I've got the bad back and all that. Mm-hmm. And then I start, I feel pretty good. And then the back catches me.
Well, geez, maybe not so much.
Laura and I were out for a walk today, and she says, "What's wrong with you? You're limping." I said, "Well, my back, I can't, you know, because I used to walk from I could walk out at anybody and, you know, go hunting in the fields and stuff. And now, and, you know, and it's just after you get away from it, that body starts to soften back up. Mm-hmm. And it depends on a lot who the opponents John's going to work with too.
Right.
You know, if he's working some main events, going to be a little tough.
Yeah. I could only imagine that they'll really protect him in certain ways with like doing multi-man tag matches or kind of like building him on tours and stuff like that. And then when he's ready, like for the big matches, he'll be ready to go in singles competition kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so too. I hope so. Yep.
And you know what? You heard during WrestleMania season that The Rock was working with the NXT tag team Gallus down, you know, behind the scenes and stuff like that. He was the one, he was training with them to get ready for that. And even when The Rock was there for WrestleMania, he looked great and he was doing really well for what he was, but you could tell like, he hasn't wrestled in a while either, you know?
Yeah. And it's, you know, it's your endurance,
right? Getting
that breathing in the ring. And all of a sudden, you know, 12 minutes in the match, so, because, you know, you get in there and you feel like you can still do it. Mm-hmm. And you can boom, 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 boom. And then you're, no matter how hard you get in the gym and work out, without being in the ring and preparing yourself and getting that, the breathing that you need to have in there. And, that's the tough part. That is really, really hard on you.
Let me ask you guys this. Robert, we'll start with you. Who would you like to see John Cena's last match be at WrestleMania?
So the last match is not Mania. Last match is some point in December.
Oh, is it? Okay, thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, last match is sort of towards the end of the year, so I'll give you both.
Okay.
I think he's winning the Rumble.
Okay.
I think he's winning number 17 from Cody at WrestleMania. And then I think you retire him with a good old-fashioned match with Randy Orton.
Okay. I was thinking that's
you
what
think he's going to take the belt from Cody?
Absolutely.
You think so?
I think he breaks the record by doing that. I think he sends Cody into a bit of a spiral, maybe a little bit of a heel turn, maybe a little Homelander. And we can tell that story going forward because Cody's got a lot more years than John. He can say, I was here when they booed you. Now, all of a sudden, just because you're the returning hero, they want to cheer you after everything I did. I succeeded where you failed. I beat Roman. You failed at that. You can tell a lot of different stories. And I think John as champion can lead to some fun matches with give him a one-off with AJ, give him a one-off with Punk, hit the high notes that the people want to see. Or also, then you can put him in there with Carmelo. Oh, look, he's putting over a young guy. You put him in there with JD McDonough, maybe, and Oba Femi from NXT. Those are the notes that I would try to play along this thing, but you never know where they're going to go.
Great.
Have you been sitting in on the WWE booking?
I really wish I was, Greg. Thank you.
He's down in Florida, so he's not.
I am down in Florida, but they won't let me in.
Really? No, that's too bad. Good scenario. I don't see it going that way, but maybe.
What do you think, Greg? What do you think is going to happen, or how would you like to see it pan out for John Cena?
Well, I don't think they can have John win the title.
Okay.
You made a good point that then he'd have the record, but Randy Orton's right near the record too.
He's pretty close, right? I think.
Yeah. So I would see Orton maybe knock off Cody, and then he's got it, and then John ties it.
Ooh, and then he retires that way. You could do it that way, even.
That would be good too, because I think he's about 2 more ahead of Randy. I think he's got 16. Randy's got 14 right now.
Oh, is it? Okay, I thought they were about even.
But Randy, that's a good story you can tell too. Randy stuffing him, and then you're not breaking the record that my mentor Ric Flair set. That's another story that you can tell in itself. Yeah. But I think definitely you're getting a Randy match, and I think you're definitely getting something with Cody as well for John.
Well, if John wins the title, okay, now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Does he retire with the belt?
No, absolutely not.
Well,
I think you could end it. I think you could definitely end it like that, Greg. I think like his final match, you could really build it up throughout the year because Robert, you said it's December that he's going to do.
Yeah, that's what John said. He's looking towards December.
You could have somebody dominant like Gunther, like win that world heavyweight title here at SummerSlam coming up. Have him hold it for such a long time again, like he did with the Intercontinental title, and then boom, December reaches. He loses to Cena, and then Cena just retires at the end. He's done. And I think what a great story that would be, because you make Gunther this dominant, unstoppable champion and like one of the greatest to ever do it. Then like you immediately have a legendary star then in Gunther from that. So I think
you two are both sitting in on those booking sessions with him, aren't you?
It's called booking, great.
Well, why do you think we're here with you? We're just trying to pick your brain so we can get that mentality and then take it back.
I don't know. No, both of them are. I mean, they're great scenarios.
Yeah,
it's just, I don't know if John could handle a couple of championship matches. I don't know. Maybe if he's down at NXT working out with those guys, he'll get himself in good ring shape.
Sure.
Then I could see it, but. I don't know what else, he's doing other things right now. So whether he has the time to get himself prepared, knowing him, I'm sure he will. So I guess any of those scenarios will probably work. But
it's tough though,
which one is going to be the best one? I don't know.
You think about The Rock, and like he's kind of set a precedent for like stars that have gone away that still look great and that can still probably go to a good extent in the ring, but it's just time away. And like, you know, you look at what happened to The Rock like over 10 years ago at WrestleMania 29, like he tore, what was it? He got a hernia or
it was his abdomen. It was an abdomen tear.
Abdomen tear. And then that halted all his filming stuff with Hercules. All the movie production stuff had to be put on hold until he healed up. It really caused a ripple effect for The Rock. Mm-hmm. So, and like, look at what Cena's doing. He's a busy man. He's got a lot of different opportunities coming in Hollywood and stuff. So, making it all work. But to your point, Greg, you know, Cena is a student of the game, and I think he'll make the correct adaptations to making it work for his schedule currently.
I think so too, but you were talking about The Rock a second ago, and I watched him recently, and he had a match, and then he got where he had to really turn it on, and you see him. You know, that's the breathing I'm talking about. There's, you know, being really prepared to set that, to get that pace up, and then come back down and then go back at it again. It's pretty tough. It's, I mean, we all think we can do it. Believe me, we all. But, you know, it's a whole different animal when you get back in there and you got the crowd going and that adrenaline's flowing and you're really fired up.
Right. There's a lot of interesting
things. That's what you have to, you have to get that endurance so that you can handle that.
The endurance is key. It's so key. And it's like, you know, you hear how many times, even if they're away for like a couple days or like after a week, you're not in ring shape again.
Well, really not. I mean, guys come off the injuries. I mean, that's what happened to me. I got the knee banged up really bad. In fact, I tore the cartilage in a match in Salt Lake City. And the next day we had to go to Japan.
Wow.
And wrestle for 2 weeks. And I wrestled with torn cartilage in my knee for 2 weeks. When I got back, when they opened it up, the cartilage fell out in 5 pieces. They said, "How did you ever do it?" Well, you know, you had to do it.
Yeah.
And then I was off for about 9 months. And boy, when I came back, it took me about 6 months to get back into the flow of a match. You know, adrenaline and breathing and you know, knowing when to do something, when not to control your breathing.
Yeah.
You know, people don't see that part of it. You know, all they see is all the holds and the counter holds and the flying around. But if you're not prepared to get in there and go at least 20 minutes, and that means a lot of endurance training.
Right.
Yeah. Get to that.
Absolutely, Greg. It's like to get yourself back to that level is very tough. And
it's really tough.
You know, and the older you get, it's a little tougher too.
Yeah.
You know, right?
I know.
But then you got to think 47 for John when you've got a guy like Jericho who's in his 50s going well. Sting did great in his 60s.
They kept wrestling. They haven't stopped.
John does about one a year. I think this run, by the middle of this run, I think the stamina will be back, and I think he'll be in good shape to kind of end it with a high note.
Okay, Coach.
Hopefully there will be no injuries. I would hate to see that happen.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Where it would kind of stifle his whole retirement tour and things like that. But, you know, I'm sure there'll be the people that he's working with, Greg, like you said, will be smart enough to handle it, and it really who you pair him up with. And Cena's smart enough to know how to protect himself in a lot of ways. So some interesting takes in the chat regarding what could happen for Cena. This is a good one from David Von Boglin. Cena wins the Rumble, wins the belt at WrestleMania, drops it at SummerSlam, then rides the rest of the pay-per-views with the guys he wants to work with most. So it's kind of like he had his big hurrah, and then you kind of tone it down throughout the end of the year, and then you give him a good send-off. That's a different way to do it, too.
Yeah, that's a possibility, but I'd like to see a better send-off than that.
Yeah, you want to kind of end it with a bang, I would think, you know?
It's going to all depend on where that send-off is, the date they end up deciding on, and if they can get him in like a Boston Garden. Like I know, Greg, your dad retired in a big show in Chicago, and it was like his home base. I think they'll try to do that with John with like the TD Garden if they can get that venue for a big show.
Yeah.
What memories do you have of your dad's retirement, Greg?
What?
What memories do you have of your dad's retirement?
What number?
What memories do you have of your
What
dad?
memories?
Yeah. Magnum.
Yeah, there's the boss.
Hey, are you in your car?
Yeah. Mobile.
You got the insurance company with you?
I just wanted to see if Greg could remember a story.
Okay.
I've been stumbling around. I needed your help.
He's doing great.
You were looking for a hot tag, weren't you?
Yeah, I was panicking a little bit.
Oh, you're
Lost for words a couple times. I didn't have you to jump in and help me, but
and I was trying to take over for you, Magnum, but I was about 2 seconds away.
You're on now for the next 15 minutes.
I was about 2 seconds away from getting into an I Quit match with Dom here, so you know.
Hey, ask TA what he thinks about.
Yeah. So we've been talking about John Cena announcing his farewell tour for 2025. What do you think of John, who like his overall retirement, like calling it an end here at the age of 47? Plus, on top of it, who do you want to see? So Robert told us too. I wasn't aware of this, but apparently he'll be ending in December. But he'll obviously have a WrestleMania match. He'll have builds to that. So who do you think he should take on at WrestleMania? And then who should be his final match, you think? How would you send John Cena off if you're WWE?
Ooh, that's huge. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, because I listened to that speech he made in Canada, which was spot on. And I'm frankly surprised he didn't step away sooner, because it's really hard to bridge that gap between Hollywood and wrestling, because if those people invest so much in those films. If you go out there and get hurt and then can't fulfill those obligations, that's a huge liability.
Yeah.
They work with you. So, Brock Lesnar would be a great one for him to work with.
Yeah.
He took the absolute beating of beatings with Brock. He went to Suplex City and back and around the world and still got suplexed.
Yeah, he did.
So, that would be good. He just had so many classic rivalries. He still looks great. Obviously, he can still go.
Do you think he should win the title?
What do you think, Magnum?
Well, compared to that thing I watched for the world's heavyweight title, with that fiasco they had.
Greg didn't see it.
He could probably win it, drop it, and win it again, and just deal. To be bluntly honest.
Yeah. Greg, you didn't see it. What happened? So Damian Priest took on Seth Rollins, okay? Yeah. And so it was a good match. I was really liking it. I like both Seth and Damian. But there was a spot that happened where Seth did was it a superplex, Robert? And then he
Falcon Arrow. He hit him with the Falcon Arrow into a pin. It gets to about a 3 count. The referee stops counting. Damian doesn't get his shoulder up because McIntyre's music was supposed to hit to cut off everything, and they missed the cue. And now it just looks like Priest didn't kick out.
Yeah, it was not a good spot at all, Greg. It was not good.
And then he still walks out with the title. It was just it was foobarred. It was bad. But finish.
Maybe they'd put Cena with Damian, and
I would like that a lot.
I think they're about to put Gunther with Damian. And I think Gunther's about to take that title for however long he wants it.
So, Magnum, this was my take, was that Gunther beats Damian, and then he's just again dominant throughout a year, and then even then some. And then by the time you reach the end of December, when Cena's going to retire, you have Cena beat him for the title, and then Cena retires with the title, and then that's it. Then you hit the reset button on everything, and it's like a good story. You don't have to really worry about risking Cena's well-being for a good amount of time, like running a rough shot or nothing, and then see what happens. I don't know. That was my take.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
That would be super. And I was kind of surprised the way they worked the Sammy match with Braun Breaker too.
Me too. Yeah.
And Sammy's a great worker. For those two just did not have the chemistry, the timing that I thought would come of that whole thing. And I mean, I know that, Braun's still young and really actually green by all reliable accounts of what he's actually done. He's great, got great potential and whatnot. But he's that thing, it just kind of, I don't think it was the best thing for his momentum and his career. I'm not suggesting he should have won, but just the way it just was not it's kind of an unceremonious loss, to me.
Yeah.
For a guy that, throwing people through windshields and doing all the, brutal stuff that he's done, that seemed like, they blew a big wad there for a very little return.
I agree with that because, you got to think. Yeah, and you just said it too. Him throwing like ricochet through windshields, tearing apart people. It's like ride that momentum, have him beat Sammy, and then you can have somebody go up against him, whether you want to rematch with Sammy at SummerSlam or anything like that. But it's like Braun Breakers is still a really hot act, but it's like, why not keep that cooking instead of making a risk of like, hey, let's pause it and then build it back up for SummerSlam. I think that's just taking an unnecessary risk when it comes to keeping the momentum going with Braun.
Well, and whenever you're dealing with inexperienced talent, and really, and even Damian, looked a little lost and inexperienced in that match. And to be fair, he doesn't have, that kind of track history time of, being a seasoned veteran and, being in a lead role in matches and those kind of things either. But he's out there, Seth is one of the best in the business. So you would expect someone to tear the house down with them, but for that finish to have gone awry as it did, it just took it all away. I mean, it was a weird pay-per-view for me.
It was.
The whole thing.
It was. But Greg's gal, Tiffany. She is the Money in the Bank winner for the women's.
All those days in the gym training with her paid off.
And she has thrown all those accolades to you. I just can't believe how much she's shown her appreciation on social media for you helping her get where she got to and everything.
I haven't seen the hash, really.
No.
What's social media?
You know darn well what it is, Greg. You're an Instagram guy.
I'm on Instagram and I still can't figure that out. God almighty.
What do you think about Tiffany getting this shot? Do you think they're going to slowly build to a title win, or do you think she's going to be champion relatively soon here?
It's hard to say what they're going to do, because I mean Bailey is she's just a pro with the belt, but Tiffany's definitely the young lioness, coming barreling down the deal, and she's got all the tools. It's all going to kind of depend on probably what they're doing with Rhea Ripley back in the mix, and Alexa Bliss, and Alexa's so stinking hot. I don't know that they want to cool her down, and so it's going to be interesting. They got a lot of possibilities
They got a lot of talent in that girl's.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, and it's
Jade
only
Cardell.
Ashley comes back, so they're going to be, they're going to be moving pretty good. And I see they just signed the girl from CMLL.
Yeah. What's her name?
Stephanie Backer.
Stephanie, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where's she from?
I watched her work with Tessa a few times, and I could tell she had the it factor, and she was definitely destined to get on the grander stage. So I'm not really surprised that she got pulled in, but it's that whole CMLL environment is just so unique because it can create some really unique personalities that then, if given the chance, can do something.
Right.
In AEW or WWE, either one. So because I don't know if you guys watch that product very much, but I watch it like I've got it on YouTube because I watch Tessa on Friday nights, usually wherever she's at.
Uh-huh.
And when they have singles matches, I really enjoy them. The 6-mans that they have are like they're either going to be really good, or it's going to be like watching Abbott and Costello and they are, somebody is always in motion. And I just realized they don't ever tag anybody out. They just feed in the ring. There is no tag.
There's not yet.
Yeah, they just come in, and then if they get tired and blown up or they're supposed to be sold, they just kind of roll off and they just stop for a little while. Next thing you know, they'll feed back in and they'll go do it all over again. They couldn't spell psychology if you put a gun to their head, but those people are all out there drinking beer with that little red stuff around the rim of the glass, and they're happy as a lark. They were like having a good time.
You got no problem. Yeah, there's no problem there at all.
Not at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, CMLL. That's where Stephanie Vacor came from, Greg. So
that's Mexico, Greg.
Yeah,
is it?
That's one of the top Mexican promotions. The oldest actually wrestling.
I don't get out of Long Lake in Minnesota, so
you're not too familiar.
just a little town up here. Got a nice little lake out there, though. But
hey, yeah, you got a nice place up there.
I can't find all these channels.
Yeah, you can't find Peacock up here. Greg, we have a loaded question.
I have to hit a button, I screw it up.
We got a loaded question in the super chat. $5, and boy, is it a doozy. Hello, Greg. Nick here from Crusher Country. My question is, what is the beef between you and Eric Bischoff?
I've been over that.
Yeah, there we go. Playing the peacemaker, I like it.
He just not an honest guy.
There you go.
Oh, come on, this is a $5 question. You got to do better than that.
Oh my God! Do I have to go in through all that again? God.
Yeah, why not?
I told that story. If they don't, go back and look at some of the other podcasts where we talked about it.
We've kind of talked about it a little bit.
Kind of talked to him.
Well,
I got him the job at Turner Broadcasting. Mm-hmm. Then they brought me down there. Bill Watts brought me down, and there was a position for an executive producer. And I said, Bill, should I go down there? He said, nah, it doesn't mean anything. That's when they got Bischoff. They had Tony Schiavone down there. Joe Pescatco was there. Joe was somebody from Atlanta, and some other guy. Oh, Tony Schiavone. Mm-hmm. No, it's not a big deal. Well, Bischoff at that time was the only one that didn't really know wrestling. All he had done was interviews for us, and that's what he was doing for them. And they wanted somebody that didn't know, wasn't from the wrestling background. Mm-hmm. So he got the job. And we're out in South Carolina, and Bill Watts drives up that day, and Mike Graham and I are there talking. He walks, he says, well, I'm all done. You got a new boss, Eric Bischoff. What? So then, Mike and I were doing a lot of the training with Bill Dundee, and Eric and I got into it a couple of times about, some guy he wanted to be a star, and no way. There's just no way. You can't just make a guy a star. He's got a lot to learn, maybe 3 years down the road or 4 years down the road, the way he's going, but you can't just put him in there right now. And so we got into it a couple of times there. And then he said, well, how do we turn this thing around? And I said, well, the only way to turn it around is grab Hogan from New York. He said, well, I don't know him. I said, I'll call him and see if he's interested. So I called Hogan. He was interested, supposed to come in. And I told Eric, I said, okay, I'm going to get Hogan for you. But for that, I want something in my contract where I'm going to get a percentage of his merchandise or something for doing this. I'll get it all. I'll talk to Bill Shaw. So a week went by, and I said, hey, where's the contract? I wanted something. Oh, Bill's out of town. He'll get it when he gets back. So I would fly home on Friday nights. I come back Monday morning, big banner in the office. Welcome, Hulk Hogan. So they went behind my back and got Hogan, and I never got what I was promised.
Man.
So there it is.
Man, there you go. There you
And
go.
that was Bischoff that
You
did
know?
that. And then he took all the accolades for it. So they thought he was the hero, and pretty soon he's running the whole deal.
Oh my gosh.
It went for a while, but you can only run it so long, the way they were doing it, and then it fell apart.
Yeah, it's a man. Yeah,
We lost Magnum.
We lost Magnum. He was out on Greg.
Did he get mad because I started telling that story again?
I think so. I think you upset him.
I bored him again.
Greg, did you see any of the WCW documentary on Vice with The Rock was on that, Bischoff was on that. It was all about the death of WCW. Yeah, essentially, it all boils down to the Turner people didn't want wrestling. Now, your dad had a great relationship with all the TV companies in your area. Did you ever come across TV executives that just didn't care for wrestling, wanted nothing to do
there
with
was a lot of people in Turner Broadcasting that didn't want wrestling on there, but the numbers they were getting, they had nothing else that was beating it.
Yeah.
So they're going to keep it on because they're getting all their commercials sold, and they're making a lot of money off of them. But there was, Ted Turner liked it, but his staff under him, they didn't like it at all. They always wanted it off there.
Do you think that was part of the reason, though, why Eric got appointed? Because he maybe could facilitate TV deals more or something? Is that a reason?
I don't know, because I wasn't in on those negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
I just know, he's a good talker. He's a good salesman. He sold himself to him, and they wanted somebody that wasn't in the wrestling business. The other three all were.
Yeah.
And he was I got him the job as an announcer down there.
Mm-hmm.
When we were struggling, he said, "Hey, I'd like to, go to the WCW." And I said, "Well, I'll help you get down there." I called Watts and got him down there. You know? And then once he got to be a big shot, "Hey, you're back. You all right?"
I turned my truck off so you wouldn't have all this background noise, and my phone overheated.
Yep.
Danger mode.
Hey, you're having a tough time out there lately.
You are.
What else is overheating in your place?
But I keep coming back. That's the
you make that big comeback. You're just selling and selling. How's the house coming?
Not so good.
Shouldn't ask that question.
I would have taken a picture of my bathroom in complete disarray with the tub dismounted out of the floor of the shower.
Oh my gosh!
But I won't bore people with real life stuff.
Well, you got a good insurance company, luckily.
Well, it's just one of those things. That if you live anywhere long enough, you're gonna have something.
Yep, that's for sure.
Well, no doubt about it.
Well, I hope everything works out for you, bud.
Okay,
Greg, here's a good one. What do you think about Vince Russo? Have you ever had any interactions with Vince Russo?
I didn't have any interactions with him, so only what I saw on TV. But no, I never had any interactions, so I don't even comment on it.
There you go. Yeah, he's a polarizing figure in wrestling, that's for sure.
Bro, I don't know, man. It's all about the characters. I grew up watching the characters in the New York.
Is the TA? Do you have any run it with Vince Russo?
I did a podcast with that Featherstone guy.
Oh, Chris Featherstone?
Yeah, and Russo jumped on with me and talked with me for a little bit, and that's the only time him and I have ever spoken my entire life. I mean, he was very cool with me. It was all good.
My interaction with Vince has always been pretty positive. I've never had any issues with him either. So, yeah.
Sorry I couldn't answer that question any better for him, but.
Well, Greg, I wanted to get back to that 1.2. What was it like being there for your dad's retirement? What was it? Do you have memories of that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a big night.
Mm-hmm.
He wrestled Bockwinkel, and they had a really good match.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very emotional, not only for him but for the entire family. And I think Chicago was kind of his home. It wasn't his hometown where he lived, but that's where he started. It was on that Dumont network.
Mm-hmm.
And I put stuff on. Maybe you've seen some of the stuff on Instagram from those days. That one poster where 1953, he was making over $100,000.
Yeah.
You know, and he was, you know, Lou Thez was there and all that, but he was their draw.
Mm-hmm.
And he helped build that whole Dumont network. And that's, you know, that's when finally that ended in about, it was going to end in about 57. He came to he got TV on in Minneapolis, and he started negotiating and expanded the AWA, you know, from Winnipeg to St. Louis to the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he wanted a lot of major cities, and we had him. We'd run 3 or 4 major cities a week, usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And they'd have some spot shows before that. You know, so the guys they had time off. They loved being there, loved working there. I wish we'd had an opportunity to have TA there.
Yeah.
He'd have been a great, with his background, and at 235, 240 pounds, he would have been a great champion for the AWA, because that's what Vern always wanted to, you know, he wanted guys that had that background,
Right.
you know, legitimacy, and TA had that. He'd have been a good one.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Couldn't get him to move. He wouldn't move.
I don't blame him though. It's Minnesota's cold up there. Great.
He was doing fantastic where he was at. But you know, that was the type of guy Vern would take under his wing and just take off with him.
Right.
You know, that's a good segue, Greg, because Vern wanted to make movies, and he did make the movie The Wrestler in the early 70s, and John Cena's going off into movies. Why didn't Greg continue to pursue other stuff in Hollywood, maybe if it's just like action roles or anything like that?
Well, it was funny when I first started, it was 1973, 72.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were making the movie The Wrestler, and Ed Asner was there.
Yeah.
And I was refereeing and, you know, just starting to wrestle. And he said, "I'll take you to Hollywood." He gave me the opportunity. He said, "I'll take you in with all the big people, and we'll make you a star."
Oh,
I said, "No, I want to wrestle."
No way. So, wow, you had that opportunity, huh?
Asked it up, yeah. And Ed even called me a couple times after that, and, you know, said, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah." So I don't know, probably, you know, maybe I've just been somebody's sidekick, you know, who knows?
You could have been the next De Niro. Who knows?
Yeah. But I really enjoyed it. After going through the wrestling camp and everything, and I really, you know, I grew up in it, and I loved it, and I wanted to be a part of it. And you know, everybody said, "Well, you're too small. You can't do this. You can't do that." Well, you know what? You just go in there and do the best you can.
Yeah, that's it.
And had fun and did my thing, and I loved it.
Magnum, we talked about before, Dusty had like a screenplay and an idea for you. Was there aspirations for you to kind of get into Hollywood kind of thing? Or was that always, were you kind of the mindset of Greg where it's like, I just like wrestling a lot?
No, my whole, my deal was, my career path was to go drive NASCAR.
Okay.
So I was 27. I wanted to have the run with the title. I wanted to be out of wrestling at 30. And then I wanted to drive NASCAR from 30 to like 38 and then go to Hollywood after that.
Whoa. I didn't know you were wanted to do NASCAR. I did not know that.
No, I didn't either.
I got to drive Benny Parsons' Copenhagen car at Charlotte Motor Speedway and fell in love. It's more fun than anything I've ever done doing anything inside the ring.
Did you?
I mean, like not even a comparison. Standing in front of 10,000 people, oh, big pop, big flipping deal. Get about in a car going 200 miles an hour.
Did you drive on a track?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I drove at Charlotte Motor Speedway at the big track.
Oh.
And how fast did you get going?
Well, I drove it to 180, and then I sat down on the floor without a seat or a seat belt or nothing, and he drove it 200 miles an hour with me sitting down in the staggering floor of the other side of the car.
That's unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
What did that feel? What did it feel like?
It was like, if you can imagine being a ball on the end of a string and somebody spinning it as fast as it'll go. The G forces are so hard that it defies logic. Your brain thinks you're not going to stay on the ground. Those bank corners, enable them to go so fast that your logical mind says we're going to die.
What does your body feel like when you're going around those corners?
It was just a rush. I mean,
Yeah.
I just absolutely loved it. And a couple of months after all that happened, I ran into Hal Needham on a plane flying cross country, and Hal Needham and another Hal, an actor, Hal and Hal, they owned the Copenhagen team, and they talked to me about it. And I mean, the serious conversation was really serious because back then there was such a huge crossover between wrestling and NASCAR. The fans were very, very similar lane, people, and they were looking for that next young gun kind of thing, and they were chomping at the bit, thinking about, oh my gosh, this guy, in the top 3%, of baby faces in the country wants to come drive NASCAR.
Yeah, right. What a crossover that would have been.
And it was before Tim Richmond hit the scenes back in that day and everything else. So I was all about it. I was ready to go to the daggone racing school. Jimmy Crockett was about to have a coronary. It's great.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I had no idea. I knew you liked cars, obviously, and I knew you liked motorcycles and stuff like that, but I didn't know you had aspirations to do that.
Yeah, it was, like I said, hands down. I just thought I had, driven cool cars, fast cars. Everything I drove was like a boat anchor.
Yeah.
And it wasn't supposed to even go down like that. We were going to do this cool cutaway thing, and they were going to film me like getting in the car and them, like getting the seatbelts on and everything. And then they were going to do a cutaway, and then they were going to get Benny in there and show him driving off as if it were me, and driving around. And when I got in the car, Benny told me to push in the clutch, and I did. And he reached in there and flipped all the switches and fired that bad boy off. He said, "It's a regular 4-speed, take off." And I did.
Did you? Were you wearing a diaper at the time?
No, I mean, it was in my wheelhouse. It was like that. That was the way I was wired. It was just absolutely, amazing.
God.
I like nothing I've ever done before or since ever compared to what that.
You think about it, a lot of the actors like Steve McQueen and Paul Newman, like they were all big into racing and everything like that. And, it's just kind of that kind of cool crossover. And you could see why there was an attraction to it. Like they had the itch to do it. James Dean, unfortunately, like he had that, but unfortunate circumstances for him. But it was like, that was a big thing, like a lot of the racing. And, it's kind of neat that's neat, Magnum. I like that a lot.
Hey, I got a question for you. If you'd have gone to Hollywood, what kind of character would you like to have played?
Well, I don't know. I might have been in that action thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Stallone.
Cowboy?
Yeah. Well, anything that was
That had a good-looking girl across from it.
That wouldn't kill you. But see, I'd ended up like Stallone, and like him and that G, what was the girl, G Nielsen, the one that he hooked up with on one movie, and that turned his life upside down. I read in Arnold's book that was a rib, that he was hooked up with her in Red Sonja and would need to get rid of her because he was getting ready to go propose to Maria, and turned her on to Stallone as a rib, and then Stallone married her.
Wow. How about that? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's funny. They're just like the boys.
Yeah. Oh, man. Stallone was all over the place too, like with wrestling. I know there's pictures of him with Harley Race. He worked with Terry Funk several times. Obviously Hulk Hogan. He's been a big wrestling fan. When he was
a lot of actors are.
Yeah, right up until Steve Austin gave him that tackle that broke him.
Right, broke his nose. Jeez, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. You realize real quick that Hollywood stuff and a 260-pounder flying through the air, tackling you into a brick wall is not a good thing.
Nope. Not in the least. Not in the least. Well, hey, what's a good thing? PowerTown. The PowerTown Ultras are ready for pre-order, and do they look great? Holy smokes. Such a great lineup. We got the first look of Medusa earlier. Was it the beginning of this week? The weeks fly by, so it was.
I believe it was a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago at the drop of Medusa, but we got some great ones here. Kamala. We have Dory Funk, and you guys also just released the titles too. Wahoo McDaniel, Junkyard Dog, and Jack Briscoe, obviously. But those titles, my goodness, do they look amazing too.
You left Medusa out of there. We're going to hear about it.
I know we're going to hear about it. I better pull her up before I do that, before that happens. So, but guys, what you do is you go to PowerTownWrestling.com and you get your pre-orders in because they're only available for a limited time.
Oh, geez.
I'm
looking at these titles now. These titles look amazing.
There's some fantastic stuff right here. So I'm going to pull up
our sculptor. He does a phenomenal job.
Look at these. So there's Medusa, there's Wahoo, JYD, Jack Briscoe, Kamala, and Dory Funk, obviously, too. You can get the whole bundle for $289.99 right now, or you can get them each here at $49.99. So take a look at that. Yeah, I'll have to try to pull up the
Dom, show off the belts are on the PowerTown Instagram. Show off the belts. These belts are phenomenal. Magnum, I'm gonna ask right off the bat, when are we getting a re-release of the Magnum TA Ultra with the JYD Mid-South North American title here?
I'm in a weird position there because, so I held that belt, and then I held the evolution of that North American belt, the great big thing like a Rolls Royce front end, and I don't know how we're gonna. I'm not sure exactly how we're gonna navigate all that. If they do a chase or a new one of me for every one of those cool belts, I'm gonna have heat with everybody.
You are
more figures out there than anybody else, but we've got and it's cool. I mean, so Wahoo's got the belt that we've got for Wahoo is what became the all silver U.S. belt.
Oh yeah, look at that.
When I won that belt from him, it had remnants of that red and blue paint on it, but it was all chipped up, and it was a mess. So I took a bottle of lacquer thinner and took it all off and made it all silver. And so that's really cool because that belt was very well known that he had. And then when I turned it all silver, of course, that's what Tully and I fought around that little I Quit thing match in. And then the belt that we did my figure with was the belt that Nikita and I had the best of 7 with. And I think that Russian guy might be showing up before too long.
Ooh, yeah, he'll be a good one too. But yeah, look at this, the NWA title with Jack. Then you got this one, that version with Dory Funk Jr. And then Medusa's infamous title there.
Plus, I love the Medusa because it's an original. Because obviously you can't get the WF title, but that's a really cool one that looks enough like the one she threw in the trash, but also has like the Tokyo flag on it because she was doing a lot of work in Japan at the time. That's a really cool one to me.
Yeah. Well, that belt is a really cool story because they made that custom for her and named her the People's Champion way before that was a moniker for anybody else.
No way, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so she still has that belt. We made that. I mean, that's a real legit belt that we took the exact, plates and everything else from and made that.
Wow. And then I love the JYD belt too, the North American Heavyweight Championship.
And that was the biggest challenge, believe it or not, because there was no great renderings of that thing in pristine condition.
Whoa.
It was beat to crap when I got it in 1984 or 3, whatever it was, and I could not find one great picture of it when it was brand new. But that was an original Reggie Parks made belt, so that comes from that licensing agreement we have, with Dave Milliken, who represents that estate.
Oh yeah. It's such great work with those belts too. It's awesome. Oh man, such an exciting thing. Yeah, guys, go to PowerTownWrestling.com. Scoop up your orders right now.
They better order them quick.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, these belts are amazing.
My good friend Sassy, she just sent me a text message. She bought the whole pack today.
Did she?
She's so excited to get it. Yeah.
Wow, man, how about that?
Great wrestling fan.
How excited are you for the Hall of Fame, by the way? That's next week coming up.
It's next week, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Some nice publicity here in Minneapolis this week.
Yeah.
Awesome.
On the sports shows. So the guys, they did a nice job and helped promoting that thing. But yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm anxious to get down there, and they got me introducing a new event there, or a new induction.
Award. Yeah.
The training award, and Tom Pritchard's getting that.
Tom Pritchard, yeah, and
Well
it's named
deserved.
after your dad.
So looking forward to that. And they want me to give a little speech about that. And then I got my little speech I've been working on here. We'll see how it goes.
Who's inducting you, Greg? Is there somebody inducting you?
I don't know who it is, to tell you the truth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They
And-
probably have told me, but I probably forgot. That's hard to believe, isn't it?
No, not
Hey,
you.
hey, Greg, you're doing
I
great.
don't forget to drive down there. That's why I got Laura going with.
Out there and get back in one piece, okay?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
it.
hope so too. Yeah. No, it's I'm really excited about it. TA is in there, and it's the Dan Gable. Well, actually, my son's going to do the introduction for me.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, JP. He's gonna do that.
Oh, that'll be
But God, that Hall of Fame, TA's been down there. He said it's phenomenal, and I've been seeing pictures of it, and I'm anxious. So I'm gonna give them each. I'm gonna give the 6 ultras, put them down in the Hall of Fame down there.
I love that. That's a great idea, man.
Yeah.
Tying it all in there. It's so cool. I'm so happy for you, Greg. I wish I could be there. My brother Marcus will
Me
be there.
too.
Paul Bramo will be there. And we'll get some good coverage for you guys there for sure.
Good. We're gonna do a podcast out of there, right?
Oh yeah, we'll get something cooking for you.
Where did TA go now? Is it something we said again?
He's a man of mystery. He's the wheelman. I want to know what Magnum, if you can hear us, what would be your sponsor for NASCAR? What would be your number one sponsor that you'd want on your car? Wonder if you can hear us.
Some hot chick in a bathing suit.
Well, yes.
There he
Hooters.
is.
That's what it would be. It would be Hooters. Magnum, can you hear us?
Say that again.
Okay. If
Thought you
you
fell through.
had
Yeah.
one main sponsor for your NASCAR, like on your car, who would you want ultimately? What would be your number one choice?
Ooh.
What would her name be?
Back in the day, it would probably been Anheuser-Busch.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought some hot chick in a bathing suit you'd have on there.
That comes
No,
later, Greg.
To mix the hot wheels with the hot heels.
There you go.
Perfect.
I love it. I love it.
Well, maybe we get Anheuser-Busch to, sponsor our podcast here,
we could happily drink them on air. We'd be fine with that.
or I could try Coors out in Denver too.
There we go.
We can have them battle each other.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Let's book it, TA.
Look it. Boy, what a battle that would be.
You guys give us the finish.
When worlds collide.
Yeah,
Cool. It's been a good episode. We've
it's fun.
covered a lot of good ground. And Robert, thanks for subbing in. And Magnum, thanks for tagging back in too.
Yes.
Man, I owe you, Robert. You're a good tag partner.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Magnum. I had to step in for the boss. I wasn't going to let the boss down.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
Thank God you came in when you did. I couldn't handle them anymore. I was getting all flustered. Forgetting what I was talking about.
Oh,
I was
great.
just trying to breathe.
We got some good John Cena coverage. We covered a lot of ground with the history of the business too. So it's always good, and some great perspective as always. So guys, if you like what you're seeing, be sure to subscribe, share, get the word out on 4horsemanetwork.com, on OneTrueSportTV.com. If you want some added incentive, take a look at our levels we have, and maybe consider joining us and being a member of the thing. Go to OneTrueSport.com, and hey, you got to check out that merch that's available too. We got two Greg Gagne t-shirts. We got 2 Magnum TA t-shirts. They're flying off the shelves. Look at that, baby. Look at that. The high flyer Greg Gagne. Oh, it's a royal blue now. So be sure to take a look at that. And,
Am I going to have some T-shirts for Waterloo? And I need some.
I'm hoping. So I
You got
sent
some
a few.
TAs too.
No. So I just got you your own for
Well,
that.
what I wanted was,
But you will have.
Remember, you're gonna show them how they buy it on the app.
yeah,
That's
I
it.
know. But I wanted a couple of your T-shirts too, so we could have those up there in a little booth,
Yeah,
so people can order them.
we'll
Well, Laura will do a good job. She's going to sell for us. So
there we go. So hopefully you'll get at least a few of them. I'm hoping I ordered them like over the weekend. So I'm hoping by the time before you leave, you'll get them. And I think you'll definitely get the stickers that at the very least to hand out.
Oh,
and I have Barb Goodish and Charlie Fez calling me.
Ooh.
How we doing on that, TA?
That sounds like an off-air discussion.
He's dead silent.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good cliffhanger. A little
Hey,
teaser.
save, Greg. Jesus.
All right. Are they going to get some action figures or not?
Ooh.
That's the question.
Just never know around
You
here.
just
Never
don't know. Hey,
They're calling me.
what I do know is we'll be here.
They're coming, girls. They're coming. Don't worry. TA is handling it all. I buried you a little bit.
We'll be here next week. Hopefully, I got my play next week, so hopefully I'll be able to do something.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk about that next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, boy, Sherlock Holmes. That's going to be fun stuff. But, hey, guys, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Follow Greg on Instagram at Gagne.Greg. Follow Magnum on Instagram at Magnum_TA. You can also follow Magnum on Twitter at @TheRealMagnumTA. And yes, like I said, too, go to PowerTownWrestling.com. Scoop up those Ultra Series 2 figures. They look amazing. I'm excited for them. You can see I already have some Ultras behind me here, Kerry Von Erich and the Bruiser Brody. And they're amazing.
We had them hidden. We couldn't see them. Good job.
I know, right? I even tried to put a light on.
What a promoter.
I'm trying. I'm doing my darndest.
Let's hide them back there.
It's my backdrop.
Perfect.
All right, guys. Hey, we'll see you next time here on Straight Talk with the Ball. Oh, yeah. Follow Robert, too, at DudeFelice.com. Yeah, there you go.
Thanks,
Who
Robert.
put that up, Robert?
You can
Nice
also
job,
follow
buddy.
me now that I'm on the air. Yeah.
Yeah,
Follow me too.
There you go.
Robert
Hey.
Magnum.
We'll see you guys next time
Thank you, guys.
on
All
Straight
right.
Talk.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
See ya.
See you guys.